All right, this is probably the best turnout we've had in a while. I want to see you guys here every month. I want to thank everyone for being here this evening. See a lot of familiar faces, a lot of new faces. I'm going to give you guys a chance to introduce yourselves in a second. That's one thing we like to do here. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Marco Cuevas. I have the privilege of serving as the chair of the Westside Community Council. And I just want really quickly the board of the Westside Community Council, as well as Westside Community Development Corporation. I know I saw someone eating over there, but our two organizations here tonight combined to co-host this event. And I just want to thank everyone here. Just I know actually it's kind of hard to distinguish them because there's other people standing, but I do want to thank our various board members that are here today. Before we go ahead and get started, also I just want to thank Bell Arts. They let us use this to host our meetings, and normally we have a projector screen in the back, but the exhibit from First Friday, which tends to fall on like this Friday, following Friday, but the month didn't line up that way. But First Friday this month involved a youth exhibit, and so they left it up here today, and we decided to work around that and just look around and just encourage all of you to support the arts, Bell Arts, and yep, every first Friday, just like we're every first Wednesday. We have a mic that we can pass around. If anyone wants to introduce themselves, new members, guests here tonight, just say what brought you here today. Quick intro. We're going to take a couple minutes for that. Go ahead. Anyone, don't be shy. This happened last month too. Nobody wants. All right, go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Carrie. I live in the area, walkable right across the park. And I'm here also representing Justice for All Ventura County. So if anybody has questions about what we're up to, I'm happy to fill you in.
Welcome, Carrie. Yeah. Intro over here. Yep, go ahead. Oh, right there. There we go. Good. Oh. He's kidding. He's kidding.
My name is Roxana. I'm a West Side resident. I live up on Berry, and I haven't been to one of these in 3 years, and this is a much bigger turnout than the last one, so it's exciting.
Welcome.
My name is Larry Abele, and I'm here representing Bike Ventura. I hope are everyone aware of that organization? I'm the current board chair, and this is my first time to this event, so glad to see everyone.
Back. Good. Oh, never mind. Oh, there we go. Right there. There we go.
My name is Davina DeCant. My husband and I are owners of Industry Whore, located on Main Street. We have a production warehouse over here at the end of the avenue, and we employ adults with autism, putting them into the workforce and training field, etc. And we are here tonight to promote the future of our hopes of our future of our trade school for adults with autism and living facility. So if you guys have any questions, we have information over here, and I'm here for any of your questions as well. So thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Jackie Pierce, longtime resident on the Avenue. It's been a while since I've been at a WCC meeting as well, so it's good to see all these wonderful faces. I'm now representing the COC Community Outreach Center under Two Trees Church, and we're excited to share at the Idea Hub this evening some of our new initiatives. So look forward to chatting more.
Welcome.
Hello, everyone. This is my first time here. I'm the vice chair of the East Ventura Community Council. I'm Daniel Chavez. And then in my day job, I also work for the Rodale Institute, which helps transition farmers to organic. And we have a Regenerate Ventura County project giving out grants to beginning and small scale farmers to transition to organic.
Yeah, welcome.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sierra Dore. I'm the executive director of Satiquay Food Hub. This is my first time here. I'm just here from Satiquay to provide any support that I can. It's nice to meet everyone.
Yeah, welcome.
Hi, my name is Richard Peterson, and I've had my house here on the Avenue since 1987. And when I lived here before, my kitchen was really quiet. And I don't know how many of you are having this experience, but my house rattles. And it rattles all the way from my kitchen to my back art studio and the brick patio sunk. So a few people said they have abrasions in their house. So I'm trying to find out who has it because we're fracking on the avenue and we're only one of two counties in the state that allow fracking for this very reason. So what I want to know is, have any of you experienced that rattling sound? No? Yeah, like dishes rattle. Well, this happens all the time. Yeah. And the next door neighbor too. So anyway.
All right, well, we'll help you look into that. Yeah, Richard notified us recently, so yeah, if you know any neighbors that have been complaining, send them our way, and we'll help Richard get in contact with the city on that. Thank you. All right, oh, one more.
Hi, I'm Tim Nafziger. It's been a while since I've been to one of these meetings. I'm with the West Side Clean Air Coalition and just here to listen. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Wayne Morgan. I actually live on the east side. I'm very active with climate groups, especially, in Ventura City. And I'm also very interested in STEMbassadors and some of the other development work that's going on the west side here.
My name is Robert Enriquez. I'm a longtime resident and I am the chair of the board for the WCDC.
Welcome. All right, well, thank you everyone for being here. Nice to see so many familiar faces, new faces. Obviously, we're gonna have opportunity to mingle with your neighbors and just, so many different groups represented here tonight. Obviously, we have a couple council members, our District 1 council member, Liz Campos, District 7 council member, Alex Mangone in the house tonight too. A lot of city staff will hear from Commander Hurd in a bit, Fire Marshal Reed in a bit as well. Just gonna dive right into it with one quick announcement from our resident Sheila. Where's she at? We had a presentation. Oh, right here, just right in front of me.
Hi, I'm Sheila Donahue. I presented at the March meeting about Nikos, a initiative to allow in Ventura basically people to be able to cook from their kitchen and be able to sell the food, and it's what would all be like permitted and stuff like that. So I mentioned that the first step, if you're supportive of this, is to sign a form. So I have it on my computer, and I can just bring my computer around for any of you that are interested in signing.
Thank you. And right before we get to Patrol Watch, just want to remind everyone, if you haven't signed in, please sign in the back. You'll be on our newsletter, WCDC's newsletter. Just keep up with information about our meetings, upcoming events. Later on in the year, we'll have our annual West Side Fiesta. If anyone's interested in volunteering for that or anything else, trying to grow the organization, we're grassroots, volunteer focused. So we can use all the help we can get to do all the initiatives that we're going to discuss today, as well as everything else. And also, we have food in the back, of course, brought to you by Taqueria Tepatitlán. Yeah, shout out for that. And not to delay any further, I'm going to pass it over to Commander Hurd to go over our Patrol Watch.
Thanks, Marco. Are you paying people to be here or what? You got a good crowd today. This is great. I will say, East Siders, take notes if you want people to come bring food, right? Okay. So hello. Since I was here last, we do have one big announcement that you may or may not have seen on social media or in the press, which is that we have a police chief, a new police chief announced. So David Dickey, who's one of our current assistant chiefs, will be taking over as chief starting on May 16th. So that's exciting. We can move forward and start some new initiatives and things like that. So that'll be exciting for us in the department and hopefully you guys too out in the community. So that's one big announcement. I have two maps for you to look at today. This one was a particular request from someone in this community. They liked this particular map because they wanted to know what was going on with narcotic activity and overdoses. So the narcotic calls, the 21 that you see there, were calls that the public called into us and said there was narcotic activity going on. That's how many calls like that we got. And then there were 6 reported overdoses. I did research all 6 of those and saw that none of them were fatal overdoses. In fact, most of them didn't even require medical treatment. So some of them were people called in an overdose. It may or may not have been one, but that was how the call was coded. So that's good news. I don't often get to say there were no fatal overdoses this month, and that I'm glad to report this month there were not. If you move on to the next map, please, there. Helen, thank you. These are our 28-day Group A crime report incidents. There were 10 assault offenses, which is down a lot, quite a bit from last month, which is good. That's everything ranging from, 2 brothers in a fist fight at their house to, somebody pushing someone, something like that. So there's the ones that I researched for this one today. There was only one that seemed like a major assault, like someone got hit with a stick. But other than that, there wasn't anything too exciting to report. Again, I'm happy to say that because in previous months, there's been more going on. So 4 burglaries, all of those were like tools and bicycles stolen and things like that. So make sure you're securing your items in your homes and in your storage units. That's where some of these things were stolen from. 1 car was stolen, and that was from the Vaughn's West Main parking lot. And it was like a week, reported late by a week. So sounds like they might have known who took it. It was somebody that was known to them. So I'm not too concerned about many of the crimes that were going on there. So nothing major to report on that front. And then next, I think I have one more slide, Helen. No, I already said that. Just kidding. Yeah. Well, I only sent 2. Okay, well, I'll just say it out loud and then we'll promise to bring you a slide later. Emily here she's our communication specialist for the police department. She put together a really nice flyer that I would be showing you right now that indicates that we have put together a workshop for parents that's about internet safety for their kids. So we coined a cool name for it called the Predator in Your Pocket because a lot of it is on the phone, and it's going to be to educate parents about what their kids are really doing online and on their phones and how to maybe be safe surrounding those things. It's going to be on the 29th of May at the police department at 6:30 p.m. It's only going to be about an hour, and 2 of our SVU, Special Victims Unit detectives are going to be making that presentation and doing about a half an hour to 40-minute presentation with at least 20 minutes of Q&A from the crowd. It's going to be for the parents. It's not to bring kids to, but when I have the fancy slide, you'll see it. A press release is going out tomorrow about that. Oh, his bad. See, I sent it. Don't look. Okay, just kidding. Watch, Emily's handiwork is about to be shown to you. Isn't that pretty? Good job, Emily. Yes, look at that. And she's got a fancy little QR code there. So if you take a picture and you go to that QR code, you can register for it. You don't have to register. You can just show up. But we have kind of a small room, so we'd really like a head count because if we have a lot of interest in this, we may move the venue to somewhere else so we can accommodate everyone because this has been a hot topic for parents. So that's the last thing that I have to report unless anyone has questions for me. I'm sure you want to get to your idea hub people. That's it. Councilmember Campos.
Want to thank you for the stepped up enforcement around and behind Vaughn's Plaza. The whole neighborhood is.
You've noticed? Okay. Great. Yeah, we've been doing a lot of extra focus patrols there, and I've had specific conversations with the officers working that beat to get on it. And then we've partnered with Jackie and her church to kind of make sure they're walking the area and making us aware when there's issues. So we're trying our best. We know it's kind of going to be an ongoing thing. We have to stay on it. So don't hesitate when you do see issues to call us because, we'll be there for a while. It'll calm down. And then we start to back off, then it comes back. So just make sure you're keeping us aware of the issues and we'll happy to ramp it up again. But thanks for acknowledging that. I appreciate it. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Commander Hurd. And it was just brought to my attention. Unfortunately, I'm human. I'm going to invite Yvonne up for a quick second. So Yvonne is our interpreter. Every meeting we have an interpreter, and they can be very costly. But Yvonne volunteers her time to help interpret for our Spanish-speaking community. So I'm gonna let her go ahead and.
Hola, me llamo Ivonne Quintero Rea. Si cualquier persona ocupa interpretación, por favor no duden en recoger equipo atrás. My name's Yvonne Quintero Rea. If you need any interpretation, English to Spanish, or any other assistance, I'm back there with equipment. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Yvonne. All right, next up we have city news. I'm going to invite up Alejandra and Councilmember Campos. Wants to go first. All right, Councilmember Campos.
Where is Alejandra? We don't need that. We don't need that, do we? I have a little cough, so I'm going to be brief, and I don't want to infect her because she's very important. So it was a long, tedious city council meeting last night. We got a lot accomplished. The most important thing that happened was we did get an increase in the funding for WCDC. Yay. And the rest you can see on the YouTube video.
Hi, everybody. It's so great to see a packed house. My name's Alejandra, and I'm with the city's communication team. I am the liaison for the West Side Community Council, and I'm always here once a month sharing news, programs, or events that are happening in the city. So as Commander Hurd mentioned, we have a new chief of police, and this was after a nationwide selection process, and we're super excited to share this with you. We have a photo of him up here, if you guys don't know what he looks like. We also have National Bike Month is this May, and we launched an app called Love to Ride, where everybody in the community can help us identify zones in the city that feel a little bit dangerous to ride your bike on, and that will help us in the future write grants to be able to build new infrastructure to help everybody bike and walk better in the city of Ventura. So I totally encourage everybody to download this app. It's called Love to Ride. The app is also on the website, and there's also $4,000 grand prize, raffle prize, everybody. Sign up, please. That would be amazing. As Commander Hurd also mentioned, we have Tailored for Adults, the Internet and Social Media Safety Workshop. And I just remind everybody just to sign up. This sounds like a great workshop. It's on May 29th from 6:30 to 7:30 at VPD headquarters. We also have the Pollinator Palooza, May 17th, where you can enjoy free arts, crafts, activities for all ages from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Barranca Vista Park. We have a gardening series. It's an insects workshop on Saturday, May 10th from 10 to 11:30, and you can sign up on Eventbrite. And lastly, we are really looking for board and commissions to be filled with all of our city residents, and we really need you to sign up to be part of this commission. So we've launched a new online portal that makes it easier for residents to learn about and apply to our city boards, commissions, and committees. We are recruiting you guys. Please sign up. We have our city council meetings start at 5 o'clock, and our next one is on May 13th, May 27th, and we have 2 special meetings for the general plan, May 14th and May 15th. And I am happy to answer any questions. I know we have a long agenda today, so I'll be in the back if anybody wants to connect. I'm happy to connect you with any of our folks with the city. My business cards are back there. And yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you, Alejandro and Councilmember Campos. All right, next up, I have to apologize to them because when we were originally scheduling this meeting and then the schedule got shifted, I originally had them, normally we're at 6:30, and then I said, oh, we're gonna start earlier at 6. And so they're like, yeah, we'll be here. But well, now we're right back to our normal time. So I wanna thank Fire Marshal Brett Reed and also Communications Emily Ayala, who are both gonna come up and do a presentation on the Fire Hazard Severity Zone map update. So Fire Marshal Reed.
Good evening. As Marco said, my name is Brett Reed. I'm the fire marshal for City of Ventura Fire Department. I've been the fire marshal for about 4 years now, and I've been coming on an annual basis to these meetings or in the springtime to give an update on our fire hazard severity, our fire hazard reduction program. And this evening is going to be a little different. And what I want to do is present an update to the fire hazard severity zone maps that have been released by CAL FIRE. So next slide. So what are fire hazard severity zones? The state is required to classify lands into fire hazard severity zones. Up until recently, the state has only classified for local responsibility areas very high fire severity zones. In the city of Ventura, we have been more restrictive, and we have classified the moderate, high, and very high. So now with this new map release from CAL FIRE, they are now also classifying moderate, high, and very high fire severity zones within the local responsibility areas, which the city of Ventura is a local responsibility area. So the classifications are based on factors like historical fire patterns, vegetation growth, local weather conditions, terrain, and fuel sources. So with that, I think everyone's well aware of recent fire activity within the city and nearby, Thomas Fire being the obvious example. So when we were expecting these maps to come out, we really expected to see a large expansion in the severity zones. While we did see some expansion, I feel like it wasn't quite as significant as I was expecting. So we'll kind of get into that a little bit. Next slide. So this is the proposed map that has been released by CAL FIRE and the Office of the State Fire Marshal. Okay, so you can see a few different colors. It's a very colorful map. So you've got a red, orange, and a yellow zone. Those identify the different zones that we talked about. The red is the very high, the orange is the high, yellow is the moderate. So this is the area of the west side, the avenue, and I'll get into one area of. Did I do it? Hello, hello. Okay. We were very surprised to see the Ondolando neighborhood was unzoned. That's an area that historically has been predominantly completely high. So the high fire severity zone came down to Foothill with a very small sliver of moderate there. And quite honestly, we were shocked. We went, wait, that doesn't make any sense. We have an overlay map of damaged structures, and it's quite remarkable to see all of the X's of destroyed structures in the Ondolando area that are in an unzoned area. And we kind of went, don't know what to make of that. So it's one of those things that from our perspective was a bit of a surprise. Now, we have the ability to be more restrictive than what the state is proposing. What we can't do is be less restrictive. So we couldn't, for example, say, okay, if they said this area is unzoned, we're just going to make the whole thing unzoned. We can't do that. What we are proposing is to expand the high to what is currently zoned. So the entire Ondolando area, as I said, currently zoned high. We will be proposing that that area, that high severity zone, gets stretched down to Foothill and essentially remains the same as what it is now. So there will be a public hearing at City Council. These maps have to be adopted by ordinance. That has to be a process through council. Their phone's ringing. There will be a public hearing for that. There will be an opportunity to have public comment. We currently have a public comment opportunity that's open through this process. The city, the local areas are required to make the maps public within 30 days of them being released. They are on the city's website, on the fire department's website. We have links to how to make those public comments. And then we also have the opportunity at the public hearing. So next slide. So what this means is there's over 4,600 acres in the city of Ventura that are considered to be under some threat of wildfire. And the updated map rates fire hazard areas as the moderate, high, or very high. And the good news, as I alluded to, the state's actually catching up to what we have had over the past 10 or so years as far as how we have identified those severity zones within the city of Ventura. Next slide. So this is a good chart of what the different zones mean and what how they affect residents within the city. So the SRA, this is a state responsibility area. There is no state responsibility area within the city of Ventura. The county operates under a contract with CAL FIRE. There is state responsibility area outside of the city limits. So essentially the entire hillside is state responsibility area that is contracted through CAL FIRE and Ventura County Fire Department. Okay, so we're not going to worry about the SRA, but the LRA, these are the items that if you're in a very high severity zone, that the regulations are going to affect you, and the high and the moderate. So in the very high, we are required to adopt the fire hazard severity zones. CEQA, which is the California Environmental Quality Act, applies to projects within the very high fire severity zone. The subdivision map act is looking at egress, number of units within a neighborhood, and you know, are people able to get out? Is there more than one means of egress? And the state makes proposals on upgrades that could be made to those areas. Safety element to the general plan, going through the general plan update right now. There is a large portion in the general plan that identifies that safety element. Fire safe regulations is Title 14 of the California Code of Regulations. Chapter 7A is building standards in the building code for new construction for exterior wildfire protection. So if you are going to build in the very high fire severity zone, you're required to build to Chapter 7A standards and those fire safe regulations. Defensible space is part of our fire hazard reduction zone program. That is, we do approximately 6,200 defensible space inspections a year throughout the city. The additional expansion of zones means additional work for my staff. Hazard disclosure, that's when a real estate transaction happens, there's a requirement to disclose. If I'm selling my property to you, you need to know that your house is in a fire hazard severity zone and you run the risk of all this other nonsense, right? And then the subdivision review goes back to the Subdivision Map Act. And then obviously as you get out, there's less requirements. Within the city, we require defensible space in the high fire severity zone. Again, that's the city being more restrictive than the state minimums. Next slide. And I guess on that, I'll stop right there. Any questions right now? I'm kind of running through a lot of this. Anything on that last slide that I can clarify for you? Okay, moving on. The big question, the elephant in the room always is, will the new zones affect insurance affordability? The easy answer is no. The new zones do not play into insurance evaluations. Insurance companies look at risk. All these maps do is identify there's a fire hazard. The risk is that the potential for a specific structure or parcel and the amount of damage that may happen at that particular structure. You can reduce risk by building to Chapter 7A standards, maintaining defensible space, having a zone 0 non-combustible 5-foot zone around your house. There's a lot of things you can do to reduce risk. You're still going to be in a hazard area, right? Think of it as a flood zone, earthquake. We're all prone to earthquakes in the state of California. We can't get away from the hazard of an earthquake, but we can do things that's going to reduce the impact of that earthquake to a structure. We can build the new standards, we can retrofit, things of that nature, right? So that's what insurance looks at. They look at the risk for a specific property. These maps identify hazardous areas. Clear as mud. Okay, and these statements actually come directly from the insurance commissioner at the state. And when these maps were released, there was a letter from the insurance commissioner that said these new zones have zero to do with insurance. Okay, yes. It will not. The insurance companies are forbidden by law to look at those maps. I'm not saying that the insurance companies aren't looking at a lot of the same information. That's risk, okay? That's risk. That is not hazard. So you can reduce the risk. I agree with you that yes, they do look at those areas. They look at your defensible space. They look at your home hardening. They look at zone 0. They look at all of these things, but that's risk reduction. You're still going to be in a fire hazard severity zone. And if you can reduce the risk, you can reduce your rates and increase your ability to get insurance. You're not buying it. and as I said, the insurance companies do look at some of that same information, but they don't look at those maps specifically and go, Mr. Reed, you're in a high fire severity zone, therefore you're not getting insurance. There are other factors at play. I agree 100%. However, these maps are not one of those factors. Okay. Anything else on that one? Yes, sir. Best bet is it's going to be tough on this little screen. Please go to the website. We have the new maps, and it's interactive. We have them on our website where you can type in your address and it'll pull you up and nope, you're unzoned, or yes, you're in a very high fire severity zone. Okay. So that would be my recommendation. Yes. Sure. I'm not aware of the general plan identifying any of those issues. The easy answer is there will always be traffic during an evacuation. The analogy that our fire chief uses is when you go to Dodger Stadium. Dodger Stadium is built to accommodate 70,000 people. Get 70,000 people in there, park, see the game, and get 70,000 people out. And what happens when you go? It's designed to handle that many people. And what happens when you go to leave? You sit in traffic. And it's designed to get that many people out. Unfortunately, our streets in urban areas are not designed for a mass evacuation situation. So the best thing you can do is leave early. Is when there is a potential of a threat, go. Get out early, get out safely. I will add to that our emergency manager, Mac Douglas, has been working really hard at getting the evacuation plan updated. And I believe, Emily, it has been updated?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh,
Wait, did you get?
Hi, everyone. My name's Emily. I handle communications for the police and fire departments. For everyone's awareness, the police department is responsible for issuing evacuations and managing that process. So our emergency services manager, Mac Douglas, over the past year and a half has worked on updating our emergency evacuation plan. It has since been updated. The city has been divided into 15 different evacuation zones with different meeting points, transportation, and all sorts of different resources provided for people of differing abilities. So if you want to check that out in detail, it is on the police department's website. You can read the whole plan if you would like, but we've broken it out into different sections. So if you know you're in evacuation zone number 8, you can dig deep onto what that means for you. Does anyone have any questions about evacuations?
If you register for VC Alert based on those zones, you will get specific updates for what zone you're in. So I live on the east side, and during the mountain fire, I was getting updates because I was part of a potential evacuation, right? And that was just for me, and my neighbors down the street were outside of, they were in a different zone. They weren't getting the same update. So it's a great tool, the way they have that broken up into zones, and they can push that information out to all those different areas. But I recognize it's a problem. Evacuating during an emergency, it's a problem. It always will be a problem. And getting back to your question, I don't know if there's I haven't been involved with the general plan update enough to really give you a good answer.
So here's what we're going to do. So first, there's a flyer for VC Alert over there. We'll also send a link to that, as well as this map, as well as the general plan. I know it's a long document, the draft that just went out. We'll do some research and maybe add some footnotes in that email, as well as the emergency services plan. We've had Matt come here before. We can probably get him back here again. But in the meantime, we'll send those 4 links to all the information. If you don't want to go searching for the website, we'll go ahead and put that for you. So please make sure to sign in, and that'll be available. And yeah.
Thank you. Next slide. Anything else on insurance before we move on?
I'm going to let, if you can just go through the slides, we'll probably take another 2 questions. And then if you have any more questions, I'm sure he'll stick around for a little bit.
So the big ticket item there is the city council public hearing, Tuesday, May 27th at 5 p.m. So that will be the first reading of the ordinance and public hearing for adopting the maps. Next slide. And the value of vegetation management. I love this slide because it's such a good indicator of what can be done by good vegetation management. This is defensible space. When we're talking defensible space, it's all we're talking about. Reduce the amount of fuel, and the neighbors across the street love it because now they have their ocean view, right? Next slide. And additional resources. Oh, now we did it. That's it. That's a sign, right? So I'll wrap it up there. I really appreciate you guys having me out. And Any questions, please visit our website. Visit Emily's outstanding QR code there. And please let me know if you have any questions. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and really quick. Yeah. Thank you everyone for being here. And I'm going to invite our vice chair, Eric Orbolowski, really quick to sort of do a call to membership.
Thanks, Marco. Thanks everyone for coming and eating and being. Thanks WCDC for making this a super interesting meeting. Bree for organizing. What the energy folks felt in the room tonight is because multiple organizations come out and work together. And I think that's one of the strongest things that Westside Community Council can do is be a coalition builder. We're more than just Westside, a bunch of, I don't want to say boring planning types, but we can bring all of these interests together and make these processes work. What we were doing tonight about identifying priorities is a big part of what makes the community council powerful and makes it a political force. Working closely with our council rep and developing policies that make sense and connect with people, things like affordable food, affordable housing, training, and jobs. These are the things we can get behind. If you have a little extra bandwidth, come and join us as a committee leader, as a board member, as a liaison. But we would love more participation at the West Side, and we want to continue to keep building this coalition energy. So thank you, everyone, Cause and the Swap Meet Justice, all super critical things that's so much bigger than one organization, and we're so much stronger together. Thanks, everyone, for coming out. Thanks, Marco.
Thank you, Eric. Yes, I highly encourage, we definitely want to grow more volunteers. So please sign up in the back, check mark or write down what you're interested in volunteering. We're also very transparent as an organization, the Westside Community Council. And so our treasurer and our secretary work very hard to get our finances, accurate so that we can report it to the state and all of y'all every month. And so currently our bank as of May 5th has $412.40. However, due to a current effort, thanks to Kate going to a lot of businesses, we have a flag fund effort that we're all the flags that go up around Memorial Day, actually a little bit earlier this year, this week, this Friday through Labor Day. And currently $275 of that is earmarked for flags. So if you want to donate to our organization in general or for our flag fund, it's $38 for flags, or $50 if you want to add on for like the pole. We buy it from a local business, American Flags and Cutlery, and the winds really do a number on those flags. And I want to thank Pete for organizing our flags every year. Great program. Yeah, let's give a shout out to Pete. And with that, I think Eric said, I think we all said a lot tonight. I want to thank you all for being here. And with that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.